Long ago, before the roar of tourists and the glow of electric lights, the land of Niagara Falls belonged to the native people, whose legends and spirits breathed life into every whispering tree and rushing river. Among these stories was the tragic tale of Lelawala, a beautiful maiden destined to become the eternal guardian of the falls. Lelawala was born to the chief of a great tribe that settled along the banks of the Niagara River. Known for her kindness and beauty, she was adored by all. Her long, black hair flowed like the river, and her eyes sparkled with the same light that danced on the water. Yet, despite her beauty, Lelawala was haunted by sorrow. Her heart was promised to a man she did not love, a powerful chief from a neighboring tribe. As the day of her wedding approached, Lelawala sought solace by the river. She prayed to the Great Spirit, asking for a sign, for a way to escape her fate. That night, she dreamt of the thunder god, Hinam, who lived beneath the falls. In her vision, Hinam spoke to her, his voice a deep rumble. He warned her that the falls demanded a sacrifice, a life to appease the restless spirits that dwelled within the churning waters. Terrified yet resolute, Lelawala understood her destiny. She believed that by sacrificing herself, she could save her people from the wrath of the gods. At dawn, she climbed into her canoe, her heart heavy but her spirit unbroken. As she paddled towards the edge of the falls, the river's current grew stronger, pulling her inexorably toward the thunderous descent. The people watched in horror from the shore, unable to stop her as she plunged over the edge. Her canoe shattered against the rocks, and her body disappeared into the misty abyss. The falls roared louder than ever, as if mourning the loss of their maiden. But the legend of Lelawala did not end there. It is said that the thunder god Hinam, moved by her bravery and sacrifice, caught her spirit in his arms. He transformed her into the Maid of the Mist, a guardian of the falls who watches over all who dare to approach the great cataract. On misty mornings, some say they see her silhouette dancing in the spray, her hair shimmering in the early light, her eyes filled with the power and mystery of the falls. Tourists who venture too close sometimes feel a chill, as if a cold hand brushes against their skin. They hear whispers in the roar of the water, voices that call their names, luring them closer to the edge. Guides tell tales of those who have disappeared, seduced by the haunting beauty of the Maid of the Mist. They say that Lelawala's spirit, though gentle, is restless, always searching for companions in her eternal vigil over the mighty falls. The legend serves as a reminder of the falls' might and mystery, a story woven into the fabric of the land and the mist that rises from the crashing water. For those who listen closely, the spirit of Lelawala whispers still, her voice a haunting melody carried on the wind and the water, forever bound to the falls that claimed her life. Sarah, a tourist, decided to take the tour behind Niagara Falls. She had always been fascinated by the stories and legends surrounding the falls, but none intrigued her as much as the tale of Lelawala, the Maid of the Mist. She had read about the ancient legend, but it seemed like just another folklore meant to captivate tourists. As she donned her yellow rain poncho and stepped into the elevator that would take her down to the base of the falls, Sarah felt a thrill of excitement mixed with a twinge of unease. The elevator's descent was accompanied by the growing sound of the falls, a low rumble that resonated deep in her chest. When the doors slid open, the roar was almost deafening. Sarah joined a small group of tourists, and they carefully navigated the wet and slippery paths leading to the tunnels behind the falls. Water dripped from the ceiling, and the air was thick with mist. The sound of the falls, so close and so powerful, filled every corner of the space, making it hard to think of anything else. As the group moved deeper into the tunnels, Sarah lagged behind, captivated by the sheer force of the water thundering down. She reached a point where she could see the wall of water cascading past an opening, just a few feet away. The sight was mesmerizing, the power of nature displayed in its most raw and unbridled form. Suddenly, a chill ran down Sarah's spine. She felt an inexplicable urge to step closer to the edge, to reach out and touch the water. The mist swirled around her, and within it, she thought she saw a shape forming, a woman, her long hair streaming in the spray, her eyes as dark and deep as the river itself. Lelawala, Sarah whispered, her voice barely audible over the roar of the falls. The figure beckoned to her, her movements graceful and hypnotic. Sarah felt her feet moving forward, drawn by an unseen force. As she stepped closer, the mist thickened, obscuring everything but the apparition before her. The figure's eyes, once gentle, now seemed filled with a longing, a yearning that chilled Sarah to her core. She realized, too late, that the spirit did not seek companionship but rather a sacrifice to the endless waters. Panic surged through Sarah as she struggled to resist the pull. She tried to turn back, but her feet felt rooted to the spot. The sound of the falls grew louder, a deafening roar that drowned out her cries for help. Just as she felt the cold mist begin to envelop her completely, a strong hand grasped her arm. "Are you all right?" the tour guide shouted, his voice barely piercing the cacophony of the falls. He pulled her back from the edge, and the spell was broken. The mist cleared, and the figure was gone, leaving only the thundering water and the shrouding mist behind. Shaken, Sarah allowed the guide to lead her back to the group. She glanced over her shoulder, half expecting to see the spectral form of Lelawala watching her, but there was nothing but the mist and the mighty Niagara. The guide, noticing her pale face, gave her a reassuring smile. "You have to be careful here. The falls are beautiful, but they can be dangerous," he said. Sarah nodded, her heart still pounding. She knew she had come face to face with the legend of the Maid of the Mist and had narrowly escaped becoming a part of the fall's eternal story. As she left the tunnels and felt the sun warm her skin, she silently thanked the guide and the unseen forces that had pulled her back from the brink. From that day on, Sarah carried with her a deep respect for the power and mystery of Niagara Falls, and the spirit of Lelawala who watched over them all.